My name is Damian Shirley. I live here in Shirley, and I'm also a college student in Washington, D.C. I see a lot of protests down there, a lot of people on my campus and a lot of other campuses protesting the war, but I've never seen anything like this in my hometown. It's something completely unprecedented, and I think it's a sign of just how fed up people are with the war itself. There's a lot of talk these days about victory and achieving it, but I think the big question is it even possible anymore? And I think because the war's been managed so poorly, success, a stable Iraq aren't necessarily possible. I think at this point the best thing we can do is try to limit American casualties. We've already had 3,000 of my fellow young Americans killed in this war, and I think that's 3,000 too many. To send 20,000 more into this, it begs the question, if 20,000 troops could have solved this war, could have ended the violence, so why didn't we send them years ago? Why didn't we send them thousands of casualties ago? Personally, I'm here because I want to see the war end, because I don't think we're making progress, and I think the best thing we can do at this point is to let the Iraqis take care of their own country and to spare our young men and women the burden of having to deal with more death, with more dismemberment, with the horrible sacrifice they've been forced to go through that this nation doesn't need to do. I think the best thing we can do is end the war and end it as soon as possible. Thank you.
That you feel good when you go home. You're good and tired, you know, and you feel like you did something.
No more dead soldiers! Stop the killing! Bring the soldiers home! No more killing! No more dead soldiers! Bring the troops home!
My name is Johnny Phillips. I'm from Babylon, New York. I'm out here today to protest to demand an end to the war, and especially the protest today is fitting in response to Bush's speech last night, which doesn't change anything. They have they've got their own agenda as to what they want to do, and it hasn't got anything to do with the American people or the soldiers that are perishing in Iraq, or the people in the Iraqis that have perished since this war began. This has always been an illegal war. It's time to pull our troops out. It's time to get accountability for why they were there in the first place, and demand an absolute end to this chaos. These things happened before in Vietnam. This is an old story. The treatment and the rhetoric that comes out of Washington, including our Congress, it's finally maybe becoming apparent to us that enough of this already. It's time for them to stop. We see the game, we see the transparency, and it's time to bring it to a close. And I hope that the American people and the people, especially here on Long Island, understand that the people that are out here are competent and wonderful people that are really interested in the welfare of our soldiers. Most of the people throughout this country have relatives who have been in the armed forces. My father's buried in Pine Lawn Cemetery in Farmingdale. I have a lot of respect for the military. The criminal misuse of the military is not something that is in the contract with that the military person signs with the government, and this should be called to an end. They need our help. They need us to stop. We need them to get out now. We need all the help we can get for people to come out and finally demand an end to this from Congress. We need the people to stand up and say enough. This is it, and to put the pressure on Congress to end this war and end it now. Thank you very much.
Home! No more dead soldiers! No more killing! Bring the troops home! Call Congress! Let them know!
Hi, I'm Dennis Erlab, co-chair of the South Country Peace Group, and also a member of the Suffolk Peace Network. Today, the Suffolk Peace Network organized an emergency demonstration as a response to George Bush's speech last night that calls for the escalation of the war in Iraq by sending more troops. I think it's time to start bringing the troops home, not send more troops. The whole war in Iraq was based on lies. The war was based on lies that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction. They did not. George Bush said that Iraq was trying to import plutonium from Africa to produce a nuclear weapon. This turned out to be completely false. And there was no link between Saddam Hussein and Al-Qaeda. Iraq is in a much worse condition today than it was before the U.S. invaded it. Since the U.S. invaded Iraq 4 years ago, 650,000 Iraqi civilians have been killed, and over 3,000 American troops. There's more terrorists today than there were before we invaded Iraq. That is, Al-Qaeda has more members than it did before Bush invaded Iraq. I think President Bush has stirred up and created more anti-American feelings all around the world. And he's not using diplomacy to the maximum way he can use it by shutting out Iran and Syria completely out of the process of dealing with the Iraq war.
I'm here as an American citizen, enraged at what's happened to our country, at war and more war, and a president who's not listening to the people. I want the troops home now. I want an end to this war. I want this president impeached. I have 19 grandchildren, 3 great-grandchildren, and 6 children. And they have a right to a decent life. We worked all of our lives to build up this country, and this one administration is destroying it. And they're destroying our environment, our economy, and our spirit. We're hated throughout the world because of this administration. That's all I can say.
Hi, my name is Catherine Nocerino. I'm absolutely delighted to be part of this demonstration against the war in Iraq. This president, again, by evidence of his speech, shows that he does not value the mandate of the people who are roundly rejecting this war. Nothing was said last night about a possible diplomatic solution. His only solution is to throw more young Americans into the firing line, spend more money, and enrich the companies, the munitions makers, and companies that are filling his coffers and his family's coffers. It's a crying shame. It has to stop. And the American people have to wake up and call Congress. Thank you.
I'm Joan Payne Kincaid, and I'm here because this is an outrage that George Bush has created. There was no reason to go into Iraq in the first place. It's time to bring the troops home, not add more to them.
My name is Ellen Rand, and I'm a peace activist. I've been against the war since it's been initiated in Iraq. I realized there could not have been weapons of mass destruction there, and that we're basically after the oil. I believe in peace and harmony among all people. I think it's wrong to go into another person's country without a verifiable reason. And the situation keeps worsening and worsening. We have lost 3,000 men over there. There's approximately 25,000 casualties. And we're going on 1 million dead in Iraq. The suffering has to end. I've created a peace website under Sandances, 150m.com, and I also have I'm on the peace website at the Irish Anti-War site. I believe that we're all equal on this earth, and that we're put here to basically to be conservationists and to protect each other, not to harm each other. And my paintings convey that message.
My name is Eve. I'm out here protesting today after Bush's discussion last night on TV. I've been standing on corners for 3.5 years now protesting this illegal, immoral war. I feel we do not understand the Mideast at all, and I am frightened that he's got us poised on the edge of a third world war. So we must stop, get our troops out of there, and start diplomatically talking with the countries of the Mideast and working with our allies to end violence once and for all. Thank you.
Hi, my name is John McDonough, and we're here on the 11th of January after the speech of President Bush. And I think we're all kind of fed up with this whole terrible situation here. I think that George Bush might want to isolate countries like Iran. The only country that he has isolated is the United States of America. And I don't think we should allow ourselves to be isolated anymore. And I also think we're out here because we want our senators, especially Hillary Clinton and Charles Schumer, to stand up for the Constitution of the United States, to stand up the way they should have stood up a long time ago, and defend the power of the Congress to declare war or not declare war. If you want a war, you have to go to Congress and ask for it. And I say to them, if you're fooled by George Bush once, shame on him. And if you're fooled by George Bush twice, shame on you. Thank you very much.
It's the evening after George Bush's insane speech to the nation last night. It's January 11th today. Here in Shirley, so I think it's a very encouraging day. I think there's a lot of agitation. People, I think, are really taking things to heart and making real decisions and analyzing what's going on, at least to some degree, which has been totally absent in the last 4 years of this crazy war. The president was quite scary, I thought, last night to see a president who, in a speech about promoting a war, could not cite one supporter, not one country, not one form of diplomacy, nothing but pure militaristic posturing that was based on no support. He cited no one actually by name that could support what he was promoting. And I think maybe we're moving somewhere, whether it's going to take an impeachment, whether it's going to take a Congress that will show some real humanity and decency and fortitude, moral fortitude, to really stand up to what's going on. I'm encouraged for a day. I haven't been encouraged in a long time. So that's today's news.
Well, I came from Baldwin, quite some miles away from here, in order to protest the policies of Bush that I have been doing for quite a while. This war is criminal, and he is putting 20 more thousand of our youngsters in danger, and God knows how many more Iraqis we are going to kill before this is over. I hope that the mobilization of the people will put an end to this madness. Thank you.
We need to stop Bush from taking lives. He's already took too many. There's too many innocent people over there fighting for God knows what. We shouldn't have been over there in the first place, and now he's just going insane, sending over many more people. My brother's over there, he shouldn't be. We need to take them all home, where they belong. Yeah.
Hi, I'm an American citizen. I take my citizenship very seriously. I always vote, but never always in one party. I see what the issues are and vote accordingly. I voted once for Bush. I would never vote for him again. To hell with his legacy. I worry now about arms and legs and bodies that are going into graves. This is disgusting. Our children are dying for oil. The policy in the world is totally evil and corrupt. Everything from the UN to the oil situation and the big business. The lobbyists are controlling Washington, and George Bush is making policy according to big business and the oil lobbies. We need to get out of Iraq and learn to make peace with our brothers and sisters, all of them. And not one life is worth George Bush's legacy. Get out and do what's right. The American people demand it, and do it now.
Hi, I'm Deborah Little. I'm a member of the Unitarian Fellowship here. And last night Bush gave his speech saying he's going to increase troops in Iraq. My nephew just got called up for a second tour. And so I have been working against the war for months, but of course it's much more personal now. And I put out the word to everybody I knew, North Country Peace Group and the Musicians Alliance for Peace and a bunch of friends at the Unitarian Fellowship, and here we are to say no to any surge in troops and to tell Congress to bring the troops home.
Peace will come, and let it begin with me.
Well, we're out here tonight on a cold Thursday to protest the increase in troops, which is exactly the wrong direction we should be going. We should be bringing our boys home. There is talk about a war on terror. The problem is that the war in Iraq has actually nothing to do with terror, even though the liar-in-chief keeps saying that it does. There are still no proven connections between Al-Qaeda and the government in Iraq, and yet we're still there, and now it's being called a war on terror. We need to be paying attention to things at home. We need to be paying attention to the rest of the world. We need to get out of Iraq. That's why we're here tonight.
I just want to really thank everyone for coming tonight. This is probably the most important struggle of our time, along with global warming, and the two, of course, are inextricably linked. It's important to keep up the faith and keep up the struggle. It's so warming to see all of you here. And, you know, peace, maybe in our time.
Peace will come, and let it begin with me. Peace will come, and let it begin with me.
Thank you.
January 27th in D.C.
That's right. Get on the bus.
Code Pink is having a demonstration, and we're going to see if we can get
make a quick announcement about our regular group?
Yes. And one more announcement before you leave.
I just wanted everybody who doesn't know that the North Country Peace Group demonstrates every Saturday at Bennett's Road and 25A from 11 to 12 noon, and everybody's welcome. We'd love to have you.
That's near the Catholic Church?
It's yes, and it's near the CVS, right in that area.
Every Saturday, 11 o'clock.